3-0, but also mean 3 premierships, and I won more premierships alone than the other 19 managers together. 3 for me and 2 for them. Respect, man, respect.
From shocking Europe by winning the Champions League with Porto, to conquering the Premier League, the La Liga and the Serie A, Jose Mourinho proved to be one of the best coaches in world football. His brilliant masterclass against Barcelona at the Camp Nou, his triumph over Antonio Conte's Chelsea, and many other unforgettable displays will always remain as a fingerprint in the game's archives. But football fans don't appreciate Jose Mourinho's play style. This earned him the reputation of playing boring football and outdated football, especially in this modern time of fast-paced pressing and intense playing styles. So how did Jose Mourinho become one of the best managers around? And why is he no longer as successful as he used to be? And can he climb up once again to become one of the best managers in today's game? What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the World Game. Today we are going to be discussing the special one, Jose Mourinho, and his rise to become one of the best football managers the game has ever seen. I got this video idea from Nabuto, so be sure to check out his channel before you watch this video. After starting as an interpreter, Jose Mourinho climbed his way up to the top and became Louis van Gaal's assistant at Barcelona before becoming the Benfica head coach in 2000. His strong personality was there for everyone to see from the beginning. After just 10 games in charge, Jose decided to resign, as he discovered that the newly elected president did not support him and did not want to offer him an extension despite Jose Mourinho's impressive record. Jose then moved to Leiria, where he continued to exceed expectations and finished 7th in his first season. And this is how Mourinho earned his move to Porto in January 2002. He was picked mid-season, with the club struggling in the league, but he managed to salvage Porto's season by finishing 3rd. He then made a bold statement by promising to make Porto champions in the next season. After identifying some players as his squad's backbone, Mourinho fulfilled his promise by winning the league, the cup and the UEFA Cup against Celtic. And if you haven't already figured this out, Jose Mourinho had that fire and arrogance really early on, and that would later on make him one of the most unique football managers. The following season was even better for Mourinho, as he dominated the league and won it comfortably, but that wasn't enough for him. The Portuguese mastermind managed to do the unthinkable by winning the UEFA Champions League, and it was the return leg of the round of 16 at Old Trafford against Manchester United that introduced Jose Mourinho to the world. Porto scored an 89th minute equaliser and Jose Mourinho ran across the touchline like a maniac.
It's McCarthy, it's a good save by Howard, it's been turned in by Costinha, and it could be the last minute of Manchester United's European season.
And after that season finished, Jose Mourinho received an offer that he could not possibly refuse from Roman Abramovich to join Chelsea in June 2004. He completed that move to London, and this is where the special one truly arrived on the global scene.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit arrogant. We have a top manager. Again, please don't call me arrogant, because what I'm saying is true. I'm European champion, so I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
And that is how Jose Mourinho introduced himself as a Chelsea manager. Honestly, that is by far the best way to introduce yourself to the English press. And Jose spent 3 years at Chelsea, winning 2 consecutive Premier League titles, 1 FA Cup, 2 League Cups and a Community Shield. However, at the beginning of his 4th season, Jose surprisingly left the Blues by mutual consent after it was rumoured that his relationship with the board was fractured. During his first stint as a Chelsea manager, Mourinho was loved by some and hated by some. Put the football triumphs aside, his time in England was filled with controversies on and off the pitch. He didn't hide his feelings towards the Liverpool supporters as he proactively celebrated his team's equaliser. He also did not hold back after facing Barcelona in the Champions League, as he hinted that they were receiving help from the referees. But Jose dominated the Premier League, in an era where Manchester United, Arsenal, even Liverpool were at their very best. So it does show his tactical brilliance. On June 2nd, 2008, Jose Mourinho was unveiled as the new Inter Milan manager. Mourinho only spoke Italian during his first press conference, claiming that it only took him 3 weeks to learn the language. The special one spent 2 seasons in Italy, in a period considered to be the most successful for him, as he managed to lift 2 Serie A titles, 1 Coppa Italia and a Champions League title. But what makes his time with Inter Milan so special was the 2009-2010 season, as he managed to complete a historic treble that the Inter Milan fans still brag about today. Jose successfully assembled a squad that had both talent and experience. Players like Javier Zanetti, Lucio, Stankovic, Cambiasso, Diego Milito, and Samuel Eto'o all played a crucial part in writing history under the guidance of Mourinho. But his influence was not only limited to the tactical aspect of the game. His man management skills were second to none, making the Inter Milan players ready to die for him on the field. And the most memorable moment for Jose Mourinho as an Inter Milan manager must be the Camp Nou celebration after eliminating the Champions League holders Barcelona. After winning 3-1 in Italy, 10-man Inter Milan stood tall against the floods of attacks sustained by Barcelona players in the second leg. And after a hard-fought battle, Inter Milan managed to go through to the final. With the referee's final whistle, Jose sprinted onto the field, holding his finger up high in the sky and staring at the Catalan fans, saying that he was number one before clashing with Victor Valdés. And this was considered the test for Jose Mourinho to see if he was capable of becoming the Real Madrid manager, which he passed with flying colours. After a glorious second season in Italy, Mourinho's departure from Inter Milan was filled with tears as he was set to join the Spanish Giants in 2010. Florentino Perez brought Jose Mourinho to bring Real Madrid back to the European glory days. And at that time, the club had failed to win the Champions League since 2002. In fact, the club could not reach the competition's final 8 in years as they crashed out from the round of 16 on 6 consecutive seasons. And it was very difficult for Jose to replicate that success that he had at Inter Milan, now at Real Madrid. And this is exactly what happened. Mourinho only managed to win a single La Liga title and a Copa del Rey during his 3 seasons with Real Madrid. He eventually failed to lift the Champions League after reaching the semi-finals 3 times during his 3 seasons. Despite all the financial backing Jose received at Real Madrid, he failed to dominate the league the same way he did at Chelsea and at Inter Milan. But to put things into perspective, he had to go head-to-head with one of the greatest teams the game has ever seen, the peak tiki-taka Barcelona under Pep Guardiola, so maybe winning 1 league title during his time in Spain was not that bad. And as always, Mourinho left Real Madrid in fashion. After losing the Copa del Rey final against Atletico Madrid in 2013, Jose commented on his season saying it was the worst ever. 3 days later, Florentino Perez announced that Mourinho would leave the club by mutual consent, despite extending his contract to 2016 just 1 year earlier. In 2013, Jose Mourinho moved back to London. His first season saw him finish 3rd in the league and reach the Champions League semi-finals. And on his second season, he managed to win the Premier League and the League Cup. But the 3rd year curse was right around the corner. Despite having technically gifted players like Cesc Fabregas, Juan Mata and Eden Hazard, Chelsea's performances on the pitch were heavily criticised as Mourinho's style of play was described as anti-football. The media and the fans' tension mixed with the players' unhappiness with Jose Mourinho's tactics saw Chelsea collect just 11 points from 12 games at the start of the 2015-2016 season. And Roman Abramovich, known for having no patience with managers, dismissed Mourinho on December the 15th, 2015. Jose's time at Chelsea did not end well. Not the first time, not the second time. But if you ask any Chelsea fan out there, most of them would say that he is the best manager the club has ever had. After being sacked from Chelsea, Jose Mourinho joined Manchester United the next season and spent 3 years with the Red Devils, where he won the League Cup and the Europa League. His first season was promising and United fans all thought that he was the one to bring him back to the top. However, things started going downhill until he got the sack midway through his 3rd season. And at the time it was as if Jose Mourinho was the #1 enemy of the media. Despite exceeding expectations during his first season, the Portuguese got no rest. His style of play was constantly criticised and deemed unsuitable to United's history and tradition. But perhaps Jose was forced to implement that negative style of play due to the players he had. After all, he inherited an old squad filled with players unfit to play at the highest level, especially for a club of Manchester United's magnitude. But in saying all this doesn't justify Jose Mourinho's constant attacks on his own players. Whenever results turned bad, he would always blame players like Paul Pogba or Luke Shaw, and he would never blame himself for it. And he even criticised the Manchester United board, which ultimately got him sacked. Things only got worse for Mourinho. After taking a year off, he decided to join Tottenham Hotspur of all teams. After finishing 6th during his first season, Jose started the second one with a high, thrashing his former club Manchester United 6-1 at Old Trafford. But despite reaching the League Cup final, Jose got sacked just 17 months after taking charge of Tottenham, and days before the League Cup final. And that decision was made by Tottenham owner Daniel Levy, who Mourinho doesn't seem to have forgotten, even mentioning him during his press conference at his time at AS Roma. And that leads us to the next stage of Jose Mourinho's career. With a limited budget and an aging squad, Jose finished 6th in the league and won the Conference League, Roma's first European title for decades. And at the time of this recording, Roma is now in the Europa League final. Some might find Jose Mourinho's style of play to be boring, outdated, even talent killing. But one thing is for sure, Jose Mourinho is a serial winner. He's won everywhere, except for Tottenham of course, but he's won everywhere. And maybe he could have even won at Tottenham if he was allowed to play that last League Cup game. And if he wins this year's Europa League, he's going to come back to the Champions League and hopefully he can compete for the league title as well. And with PSG rumoured to be linked with him, you never know, Jose Mourinho might rise again. Alright guys, that was today's video. Like always, make sure you like, subscribe if you're new here, turn on your notification bell. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Today was Jose Mourinho. Which player or manager would you like me to do a video on next? Let me know in the comment section. And yeah, stay safe. I'll see you next time. Take care. Peace.